Good morning, welcome back to BT. Today in Body and Balance, we brought in personal trainer Vernis Blair to talk about the phrase that everyone's using all over the place, clean eating.
Yes.
What exactly is clean eating?
All right, clean eating is food that is as close to its natural state as possible.
Okay.
So nothing processed, nothing canned, nothing in a box preferably, nothing salted or pickled or anything else like that they use to preserve it, because there's salts in there and there's nitrates in there. We don't want to consume that.
Okay, that doesn't leave us a whole lot on the average person's
Yes,
meal.
the average person's meal. If we include drive-through windows as part of our diet and and things of that nature, then there's not much variety. But actually, when you go in the grocery store, there's a ton of variety. You know. All right, go
so
ahead.
we just went through what shouldn't be,
Yes.
what is in there. What was my focus on when it comes to my food?
Fresh foods. So you want, fruits, vegetables. You want, grains, but you don't want processed grains. So for example, if you're having oatmeal, you kind of want to stay away from the processed quick oats type things that have the sugar added. You want to make your own oatmeal type thing, So it's anything that you have in its natural state or as close to the natural state as possible with no preservatives. And you can taste the difference when you eat it. It takes a little bit more effort, but the benefits are exponentially more.
Is there anybody in particular who should be focusing on clean eating? Is there anyone who would benefit most from clean eating?
If you have a heartbeat, you should consider clean eating. Yes.
If you have a birthday.
Yes, if you have a birthday. Yes. If you have a mom, or at one point in time had a mom, you should be eating clean. Yes.
Oh, right, okay, so everybody should be eating clean. Is there anybody who needs to be cautious when it comes to a diet change like this? For a lot of people, it'd be a big change.
Yes, and what we want to focus on is make everybody understand that we're not necessarily changing your diet, we're changing your lifestyle. So you want to, make this a lifestyle change. So anybody who has, medical conditions, they want to also consult with their physician before they make a change, because certain things can elevate your levels, can cause your blood pressure to rise or lower. And most of the time though, changing what you eat and eating cleaner is actually going to help your medical conditions.
But it's one of those things that if you are under a doctor's care, you should always consult.
Most definitely. Definitely.
Let's talk about making this actual practical and effective. How do I afford to eat clean?
Okay, you just have to be smart about it. So you have to be prepared to do a little work at home. So the money that you save eating raw, fresh ingredients, you're going to have to put that back in time when you're preparing the food, right? Because it's not coming from a can. You can't just throw it in the microwave. So for example, if you're eating squash, you're eating yams or sweet potatoes, like some people call them, right? It takes a little bit of preparation time, right? So it's not so much as maybe going and getting the prepackaged lettuce per se. You get the head of lettuce and you do it yourself. You save a little money, but there's no preservatives in there. There's nothing in there to keep it fresh in the package.
So, and it sounds like for a busy family, we need to plan things out as far in advance as possible.
Yes. So what you got to do is buy those things in bulk. You buy your vegetables in bulk. You buy, if you're going to be eating meats and fish, you buy those things in bulk. And a lot of time it's cheaper when you buy it in bulk.
Sure.
Right? So you want to avoid going to the grocery store every day, because then you end up grabbing the bag of cookies and grabbing those other things. You want to stick to what your focus is, which is eating as clean as possible, which is food that comes in its natural skin, natural casing, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, but we're talking fresh, we're talking local, we're talking natural. It's particularly difficult when it's -17 outside.
Yes, it's difficult, but as my wife and myself, we shop, we've been able to find squash anywhere we go. So for example, we try to replace some of the grains, because eating too many grains aren't really good for you. So we want to replace it with more vegetables. So we eat, instead of like potatoes, we'll have sweet potato. Or instead of rice, we'll have squash. Or instead of mashed potato, we'll have mashed cauliflower.
Okay.
Right? And a huge head of cauliflower is still cheaper than a big bag of potatoes. And it'll last you longer, and you can do many different things with it, right?
It sounds like we have a little more creativity in our diet.
Yes.
A little more.
Yes, and it's okay to do those Google searches to find things that you want to eat. There's no shame in saying, I don't know what I'm going to eat and I have to figure out how to prepare this, because I do it. I try many different foods and I have to learn how to prepare it. So I do trial and error. It's not always the tastiest, but the second time usually works out better than the first time.
Yeah, and you learn a little bit of the way grandma used to cook and the way things used to be. We're going to talk about this clean eating idea more and more, because you're hearing it pretty much all over the place, but we'll make sure that Vernis's information is all at breakfasttelevision.ca. Now let's check on weather conditions. Let's say good morning to Jenna Kahn.
Body and Balance on Breakfast Television is brought to you by Rady J.